Good students. So we have already done with the Lewis dot structures. Now just have a look on the general properties of covalent compounds. Like we have studied about electrovalent compound also. So the general properties of covalent compounds are, if we talk about their state of existence, so covalent compounds do not exist as ions, but they exist as molecules. Their intermolecular forces are weak, so they exist as liquids or gases at room temperature. However, a few compounds can exist in solid state also, for example, urea, sugar, etc. Second characteristic is that they have low melting and boiling point as compared to ionic bonds. Their melting points and boiling points are low because their intermolecular forces are weak as compared to ionic bonds. If we talk about the solubility, covalent compounds are generally insoluble or less soluble in water and so and other polar solvents. However, they are soluble in non-polar solvents as benzene, carbon tetrachloride. Now, if we talk about the conductivity, so covalent compounds do not give ions in the solution. So these are poor conductor of electricity. Clear, their reactions are quite slow because energy is required to break the covalent molecules. And if we talk about their directional characteristics, so covalent bond is localized in between the nuclei of atom, so it is directional in nature. Now, covalent bonds are characterized by certain parameters also, such as the first parameter is bond length. Bond length is defined as the equilibrium distance between the centers of the nuclei of two bonded atoms in the molecule. In radius, we have studied, है ना? In radius, what we have seen this that in covalent radius is the half of the distance between two similar atoms joined by the covalent bond of the same molecule. The van der Waals radius represents the overall distance of the atom, which includes its valence shell in the non-bonded situation. So this distance, this internuclear distance, is actually called the bond length also, and we can measure it in picometers generally, but we can measure in Armstrong also and in meters also. So what we can say that the average distance between the center of two nuclei of two bonded atoms in a molecule is called as bond length. It depends upon two factors. You know? So first factor is radius. Whatever will be the radius of the atom, and it will affect the bond length also. If there will be more radius, then bond length also will be more. So it means we can say that bond length is proportional to the radius, and radius is depending upon the size of atom. So we can say that size of atom is proportional to the bond length. Second is bond multiplicity, means number of bonds. If whether the bond is single bond or double bond or triple bond, bond length is inversely proportional to the multiplicity of bond. Means bond length, uh, if the bond is single, the bond length will be more. If it is double, it will be less, and if it is triple, it will be more less. Yeah. So the single bonds have the maximum bond length, we can say this. Second factor is bond angle. Now, what is bond angle? The average angle between the orbitals of the atoms surrounded by the central atom is called as bond angle. Like here, you can see this is central atom, and these are the corner atoms. So the angle which they are forming, this angle and this angle and this angle and these angles, these are called as bond angles. So the average angle between the orbitals of the atom surrounded by the central atom are called as bond angles. Clear? Uh, about bond angles, you people will study that there are certain factors which affect the bond angle, but that we will see later. Like if we talk about water, in water there is, yes. So the bond angle can be expressed in degree, minute, and second. Bond angle give an idea actually about the distribution of orbitals around the central atom in a molecule, and therefore they determine the shape of the molecule also. For example, Bond angle in methane is 109.5 degree. In water, the bond angle is 104.5 degree. In ammonia, the bond angle is 107 degree. We will see how this bond angle tell us about the structure of the compound. Now the next is bond enthalpy. Now what is this bond enthalpy? The amount of energy required to break one mole of bond is called as bond enthalpy. Amount of energy required to break one mole of bond of a particular type between the atoms in gaseous state is actually the full definition, is called as a bond enthalpy. It is generally expressed in terms of kilojoule per mole. For example, if we say bond enthalpy of hydrogen bond in H, a hydrogen molecule is 435.8 kilojoule per mole. It means if we want to break the bond in between H and H in H2, so we require so 435.8 kilojoule energy is required. Clear? So this is called as bond enthalpy. Bond enthalpy depends upon two factors: size of the bonded atom. It is inversely proportional of the bond length, or you can say size. If the bond length is more, bond enthalpy will be less, and if the size is less, bond enthalpy will be more, because if bond length is more, it means the forces of attraction decreases. है ना, bond length अगर ज़्यादा हो रही है तो it means distance is more, so it means force of attraction are less. So very easily we can break the bond. So that is why bond enthalpy will be less. And if we talk about the multiplicity, the second factor on which it depends is multiplicity. More bond, less bond length. So more bond enthalpy. हमने क्या बोला था अभी कि more the bonds. If the number of bonds will be more, like single to double, double to triple, then bond length पे क्या फर्क पड़ने वाला था? Bond length was decreasing, and if bond length is decreasing, the bond enthalpy will increase. Means more the multiplicity, more will be the bond enthalpy. Yeah, this is the reason students they see in nitrogen. Nitrogen when form a bond with nitrogen, like in N2 there is a bond in between N and N atom, and they form the triple bond. And triple bond means we require a large amount of bond enthalpy, so that is why it is very difficult to break the bond between nitrogen and nitrogen, and that is why N2 does not react easily and behave as inert. Clear? And now it is average bond enthalpy. Now suppose if we have more than two atoms present in a molecule, so energy termed as average bond energy. For example, water. In water, what will happen when we break the bond? First of all, the first bond will break between H and O. We will write the structure like HOH. So first the bond between OH will break, and we will get one hydrogen and one hydroxide ion, that is OH. Then the bond between the OH will break. So what we will see? We will see that what amount of energy is released when H will be separate from OH. We will write that. Then we will see what amount of energy is required when we break the bond between O and H. We will write this also. So both these energy which we require to break the bonds, we will plus both these energies, and we will divide by 2. So this energy is called as the average bond enthalpy. So what I want to say you, that if there are more than uh, two atoms, or if there are three atoms, or if there are four atoms, so it will not happen that all the bonds will break simultaneously. All the bonds will break one by one, and the energy required to break all the bonds, we will plus all these energies, and we will divide by the number of atoms. So in this way we will get the average bond enthalpy. Now, bond order. Bond order is defined as the number of bonds between two atoms in a molecule. For example, bond order in hydrogen, because there is single shared electron pair, so it is 1. In oxygen, it is 2. In nitrogen, it is 3. Clear? So whatever will be the bond, that will be the bond order. Means if there is single bond, the bond order is 1. If there is double bond, the bond order is 2. And if there is triple bond, the bond order is 3. So in isoelectronic species, uh, the isoelectronic species have the same order. For example, if I'm saying F2, like fluorine, O2 2 minus, so both are having 18 electrons. So bond order in both will be 1. If I'm having N2, nitrogen, CO, carbon monoxide, and NO plus, so these all are having 14 electrons. So these all are the isoelectronic species. And we know in N2 there is triple bond. You know, so there is no need to find out which bond will be in carbon monoxide and which bond will be in NO plus, obviously, because these are isoelectronic species and N2 is having triple bond. So carbon monoxide and NO plus will also have triple bond. With increase in bond order, bond enthalpy increases. If the bond order is more, then bond enthalpy will also be more and bond length is less. Means if we increase the bond order, bond enthalpy increases, but bond length decreases. Clear? So this is all about this. In next video, we will start resonance.